early in the United States with these 12:30 kickoffs to get up and have a listen. Do join us though. Here's Schürrle for Fulham, finding Odoi on the far side. Just gets beyond Shaw and plays a square ball to Seri in centre midfield. Bit of space for him. Decent looking ball out towards Brian, who controls well and gets away from Mata. Here's Seri again, low ball into the edge of the box. Mitrovic with the layoff. Mitrovic will get a second chance here and find Babel. Phil Jones hooks it away on the volley. It's high rather than long, but Pogba manages to extricate himself from a tangle of legs, but then promptly loses it. Here's Babel. He's got Brian on the overlap. He's ignored him and come infield to Callum Chambers. Chambers clips it away towards Odoi, who I think just shoved Martial as they both went for that ball in the air, and it's going to be a Manchester United free kick. 20 minutes played at Craven Cottage. Don't forget, we've got plenty more for you. Our featured game at 3 o'clock is the one between Liverpool and Bournemouth at Anfield, with Jurgen Klopp's men attempting to return to the top of the table. Dan Wheeler and Chris Birchall will bring you through that one. And then at 5:30, it's Brighton against Burnley. Brighton have taken a bit of a dip. They were beaten here a couple of weeks ago. They're only 5 points above the drop zone, and Burnley could go level on points with them, so that'll be an interesting one as well. Here's Lukaku, hasn't really got into the game a lot. Finds Matic, now Pogba, that's a lovely turn. Pogba's beginning to look very, very menacing. Here's Martial, square to Herrera. He finds Dalot. Dalot looking to take on Babel, wants to go round the outside, the Portuguese defender. Babel's done well to pick the ball off his toes, and Fulham have done well to bring the ball up as far as Vietto, who's steaming forward, but he's shown too much of it to Jones, who he then clipped on the way through. I think the referee might want to have a word with Vietto about that. Maybe not. I think he's acknowledged the fact that it was clumsy. It was a very poor touch, wasn't it, to start with? Yeah, it was. He's running forward with the ball. He's had a big touch, and I think it's Jones who just nips in, chips the ball over him, and he's followed through, just caught him. It's quite he landed quite heavily, but I'm sure he's up and he's okay. A few players down on the deck in the opening exchanges. Here's Chris Smalling, who has had quite a long injury. December the 8th was the last time he featured for Manchester United. Here's Juan Mata, the one he used to play at Chelsea, which is only about 3.5 miles from here. Mata again, attacking the Putney end of Craven Cottage, where the away fans are. This is Matic, good tackle by Seri, who then loses it to Mata, but is helped out enormously by Chambers. And then Babel thumps it upfield towards Mitrovic, who's pretty much on his own at the moment. Jones is across and nods the ball out of play for a Fulham throw-in midway inside the Manchester United half. Here's Seri. Now Martial up towards Chambers. Manchester is red, says Fulham can't keep a clean sheet to save their lives. Lukaku needs to bang in the goals. The French connection is working again. You are from Lagos in Nigeria. Nice to hear from you. Yeah, I agree that Lukaku could do with a couple of goals. At the moment it's patently obvious that Marcus Rashford is the better choice. The goal is the only attempt on target for either team, but here's Martial, brilliant run, fantastic goal. Anthony Martial all on his own. He just cut through Fulham with his pace and precision and has side-footed the ball beautifully into the corner of the net, midway point in the first half, and Manchester United seemingly now have total control. The French connection, Pogba and now Martial. It's Fulham 0, Manchester United 2.
Well, again, it's come from nothing. He's picked the ball up in his own half, Martial, and he's ran. Odoi chasing him, tries to tackle him from behind, doesn't get there. He just keeps going, side foot into the bottom corner. What a fantastic finish. 2-0 Manchester United.
Brilliant goal by Anthony Martial, his 11th of the season, his first in the Premier League since 3 days before Christmas, but it was a wonderful finish to cap a brilliant run forward, and Pogba and Martial are beginning to tear the Fulham backline to pieces. Another goal conceded at the Cottage for them.
It's just a completely different Manchester United look. It really is. I mean, you know, we've looked at it and we said Fulham have been in the game, they've had a lot of possession, but Manchester United, as soon as they get one chance, one goal, two chances.
They literally there have been 2 attempts on goal on target in the game. This is better from Fulham though, and here's Barbel in the box, makes some space for himself and shoots. It's blocked by Luke Shaw. Barbel tries to cross again, it's headed away this time by Jones. Fulham attempting to come forward. Barbel has it for a third time and finds Seri, the diminutive central midfield player. This is Dennis Odoi into the Manchester United box, cleared by Smalling. United are making a bit of a job of getting the ball clear. They finally have. Smalling's been caught late. It's a free kick. Manchester United are singing a song at the moment that I really like about Anthony Martial. I don't know if you've heard it, but it says Anthony Martial came from France. The English press said he had no chance. 50 million down the drain. Tony Martial scores again. That's a great song.
He's, he can score a goal as well. He's looked really, really impressive. Every time the ball's gone to him, he's looking to drive into the Fulham half and get Manchester United up the pitch.
Joe Bryan has been booked for that foul on Chris Smalling as he came through heavily on the Manchester United defender. David De Gea clears his ranks. He's recovered from that injury. The Manchester United goalkeeper, which had him on the deck for a little while. Here's Matic. Another goal will surely end it for United. Here's Martial's cross. It's knocked away by Odoi. But this is the problem with Fulham. As I say, they've created 2 chances and they're 2-0 up. Here's Pogba trying to backheel it to a teammate. Doesn't come again. Fulham give the ball away in midfield. It's Vieto again to Martial, to Mata. Mata just glances to his left, but the flag had been raised against Romelu Lukaku for an offside inside the Fulham box, so there was no opportunity there for Manchester United to increase their tally. It looks at the moment as if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to extend his record to 10 wins and 1 draw. As we said earlier, they were 11 points off 4th place when he took over.
Absolutely incredible.
If this result stands or stays as it is, they will be in 4th above Chelsea by a point. Chelsea, of course, in action later on in the weekend in the big one against Manchester City at the Etihad, and of course it'll be a rare occasion where United probably be wanting City to win that one, won't they?
Yes.
It's not an easy game for Chelsea by any means. Joel Glazer is here, one of the Manchester United's American owners, sitting next to Ed Woodward, the chief executive at Craven Cottage, with David Gill in front of them, the former Manchester United CEO. They'll be happy with what they're watching at the moment. What you'd have to say is that the quality of the finishes in both cases has been magnificent.
That's the difference. I mean, Fulham have had 2 chances and 2 good chances, and they've not even hit the target or worked the goalkeeper. Manchester United have had 2 chances and 2 clinical finishes.
Saying CFC Aiden is predicting Fulham 1, Manchester United 4 from Lagos, Nigeria. Tell them what I said.
You said 4?
4-0.
You said 4-0, you did.
4-0, so I'm looking good at the moment.
Looking
with,
good.
27 and a half minutes played.
You just can't see Fulham scoring. You really can't.
Here's ball hooked away by Le Marchand. It's fallen for Vieto. Finds Schürrle, back to Vieto again. This is Seri. He's got Ryan Barbel on this left-hand side, looking to cut in beyond Dalla. That's a decent ball by Barbel in terms of its intent, but although Vieto applauds it, it rolled too far in front of him and it's gone out of play. David De Gea just letting it go away for a goal kick. We're having another look at Anthony Martial's goal. The pace, the power. Brilliant finish. I mean, he's left the defenders in his wake, and as soon as he gets a sight of goal, there's no panic. It's wonderfully dispatched.
He's picked the ball up in his own half and he's driving forward. There was only one thought in his mind, and that's to get into the box. He did that, found himself just inside the box, placed it into the bottom corner. Really good finish.
Yeah. Scored, of course, in the FA Cup game against Arsenal, which Manchester United won as part of this extraordinary run in the Solskjaer era. Well, with every passing United win, it's going to be harder and harder for those guys that we spoke about in the posh seats at Craven Cottage to not give Solskjaer the job. I think a lot of the fans have already decided they'd like it to see him stay. Hugely popular figure, and of course massively iconic figure at United, of course, because of that Champions League winning goal in 1999 unforgettably. Here's Luke Shaw, rolls it back to Nemanja Matic on halfway, and having had a not particularly good opening 15 minutes in which Fulham did okay, Manchester United now look pretty much in control of this, not just in the scoreline but the way they're nursing the ball, and the fact that Fulham struggling to keep possession themselves. They do have possession here though with Bryant, who rolls it down towards Mitrovic, who plays a square ball across the edge of the penalty area. It's pushed away by Luke Shaw. Pogba sweeps it upfield for Lukaku to chase, but it's too far in front of him, and it's going to go out of play for a throw-in on the far side. Manchester United, if they win today, it would be their sixth consecutive away win. They haven't done that since May 2009, so that's nearly 10 years since they last put together such a stunning run. That was in the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, of course. But they look well set to make it 4 wins out of 4 at Craven Cottage as well. Here's Lukaku. Can't get a foot on it. If there's been one slight disappointment about United, probably is him, isn't he? He hasn't quite got into the game. He's not been overshadowed by Pogba and
he's not got into
Martial.
And I think when balls have played up to him, they've bounced off him. He's working hard. He's putting himself about, but it's just not happened for him at the minute.
No, it's not quite in his day yet. Here's Mitrovic, who's done well to score 10 goals for Fulham. I think he scored 40% of Fulham's Premier League goals. Like no player for any club has got that kind of percentage. But they need a few others to chip in, don't they? It doesn't look like they're going to get any points today, so they will stay in second from bottom. And of course, were Cardiff to win that big relegation battle against Southampton, then they'd be 7 points from safety, Fulham, with 12 games left.
It's a massive shout for Fulham.
It's Jean-Michel Seri standing over the ball. It's a free kick midway inside the Manchester United half. It's chipped in the end by Bryan, headed across field away by Dalot. It comes out to Seri again, who's being urged to shoot, does shoot, and perhaps shouldn't have done. It's an awful attempt, and he is in a 25th game now since he scored back in August against Burnley. Jean-Michel Seri, he certainly didn't look like scoring there.
No, he didn't. He's took a touch, took a step back, ran onto the ball, had a shot, got closed down very quick from, I think it was Matic. It's gone out for a corner.
Yeah, it deflected away. It's a corner kick to Fulham. Their second. Manchester United haven't had a corner yet. Here's Seri with the set piece. Header away is by Pogba. Mata just hooks it again up rather than away. Matic applies a header. Martial, lovely touch into the path of Ander Herrera, who's got support here from Dalot. Back to Herrera again for Manchester United, who are now in the final third, and that's a lovely ball into Pogba, who controls it in the box, looks for a teammate to pass to, eventually plays it all the way out of the back, out of the penalty area to Matic. Matic scampers down the left-hand side, confronted by Schürrle. He's not really a natural wide player, Matic. The cross will come in the end from Shaw, but it's rather overcooked, and Ryan Babel will, to the delight of the Manchester United fans behind him, slices clearance straight out of play.
I think you saw the difference there when I think it was Babel was in that position, and he's played a through ball to Vieto, I think, and he overhit it, it went out. Herrera's in the same position, that weighted pass, it got them in. Yeah, and I think that's the difference with both the teams.
Pogba ended up having to go backwards away from goal, right by the touchline. He could only find Matic outside the box, so nothing accrued there. We've had 33 minutes at Craven Cottage. Fulham 0, Manchester United 2 is the scoreline. Here's Luke Shaw, who who'd have thought he'd be enjoying the sort of form that he's got at the moment. Mourinho seems to be singling him out for criticism at one point in his tenure. Here's Herrera finding Mata just outside the box, chips it in towards Lukaku, and there's a covering header by Le Marchand which pops up and allows Sergio Rico, the Fulham goalkeeper, to claim. to get things going at the other end. It's a header towards Barble. It's a clearance by Smalling, controlled by Shaw neatly, who finds Herrera. Herrera's been involved in quite a lot of the midfield action in the last 5 minutes or so. Here's Diogo Dalot, who arrived from Porto for £19 million at the start of the season. It's his 11th Manchester United appearance today, but they've lost the ball. But again, Fulham, no quality. It's a really poor ball through midfield by Seri. He's put it straight out of play. Frustrated faces on the Fulham bench. I think, you know, it's like a case of here we go again, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like that. And as you say, you know, in possession of the ball, when they've got to find that final pass, the weighted fast pass, it's either overhit or underhit. The quality has been really poor from Fulham.
Yes, they've managed to, apart from the opening 5 minutes, produce anything of any great note. Long ball straight down the centre, that won't be a problem for United. It's straight into the gloves of David De Gea. Our friend Robin from Brazil says, how could Man United possibly not give Ole a full contract? Still, I can imagine if they don't, some other teams will be knocking the door down. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, you can't see him staying at Molde in Norway, can you really? And with great respect to them, collision in midfield there. It's a nasty one actually, involving Ander Herrera of Manchester United, who clattered into his man.
Yeah, both of them going for the ball. It was Herrera that just slipped, and it's Ream that just carried his run on, went through him. Both of them clashed shins.
Yeah, they're all right. There's a shake of the hands and a kind of, you all right, mate? Yeah, I'm all right. And we'll be able to get on with the game. Juan Mata has the ball out wide on the right-hand side, but it's a useful position. There are a posse of red-shirted Manchester United players on the edge of the penalty area waiting for Juan Mata's delivery. In fact, it's Herrera, and it's not very well delivered at all by him. He went straight to the first Fulham player, who have managed to clear. But here's Mata for United, finding Pogba. Pogba just trying to keep possession, which he's done, and he's found Mata. Mata, right-hand side for United. Pogba trying to get it back to Juan Mata. Not able to do that. Ball goes out of play.
Good idea, just trying to play a little 1-2 round. Brian, the Fulham fullback.
It's Fulham in a rare sortie into Manchester United territory. It's Ryan Barble skipping past his man and veering across field, but playing it straight to Chris Smalling, who clears. It comes out to Chambers. Chambers to Mitrovic. Smalling again, very good clearance by him, and he's been caught late by Callum Chambers, and he's just come back from an injury to his foot. Chris Smalling, I think he's going to be alright, but he doesn't seem terribly happy with the challenge by Chambers, which is going to warrant a yellow card from referee Paul Tierney. That's the second Fulham player to go into the book following Joe Bryant, and I think Smalling's going to be okay. We're just having another look at it now. Yes, he's come over the top, hasn't he, down? It's not a red card, but it's definitely a yellow.
No, it is, and it's played into him. He's got there first, and he's just over the top of the ball and literally stood on Smalling's calf. The referee's right on top. Give a free kick and a booking.
Ben in Accra, Ghana, is asking us whether we think Solskjaer deserves a permanent contract at Manchester United. I would say definitely. I think he's got the DNA of the club. Yeah. He understands the club. He knows the tradition. He respects the history of it. I think he's the right man for the job. But you know, I suppose a bit much to call it a honeymoon period, but. I mean, he's beaten Spurs and Arsenal away, hasn't he, already, which is decent. I mean, most of the other games he's had, to be fair, probably haven't been against the Real. Maybe, I mean, well, the Paris Saint-Germain game, I think, will be a big test, won't it?
That'll be a test.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 5 games...
That's different, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it was the first 5 games or something. There were games that you're looking at Man United that they should win.
Absolutely.
And then he went on and beat, like, you know, Tottenham, and he's done a remarkable job. Yes. Really has.
There are certain scenarios whereby it would be impossible for them to not give him the job. If they won the FA Cup or even the Champions League, I mean, they'd probably have to give him the job, wouldn't they? Well, he's admitted they can't win the title. I mean, even winning today, they'd be 11 points behind Manchester City potentially they could end up 14 behind Liverpool if Liverpool win in our featured game against Bournemouth later. But, to get United into fourth from where they were would be quite an achievement. Finished second, of course, last year. Ball out of defence by Fulham, headed away by Smalling, who's recovered from that injury. Herrera, clever ball over the top to Mata. Herrera forward again, up in the air. Tussle with Mata and Chambers is won by Chambers, but Mata is quickly recovered possession for Manchester United and finds Martial, who's running at the Fulham defence once again. Shoots, deflects. Lukaku can't get his head to it, but United will get a corner every single time Anthony Martial's at the ball at his feet. The Fulham retreating defenders are at absolute 6s and 7s.
There they are, and again he's got the ball there. You saw what he tried to do. He's driving at Odoi. Odoi's just backing off. He's got him into the box. Odoi can't touch him. Tried to curl it into the corner. It got blocked, and it's a corner. But every time he gets the ball, Martial, he looks dangerous.
It's United's first corner, and the ball is being blown by the wind. Mata trying to place it again, takes the kick, there's the header, but it's away from goal. It's back in by Herrera towards Martial. It drops to Matic on the far corner of the 18-yard box. Here's Martial driving forward for United. Lukaku's there. Once again, he can't get a touch. Still not cleared by Fulham. Phil Jones shoots and doesn't miss by much. Well, that would have been a collector's item. Phil Jones hasn't scored for nearly 5 years. But he hit that really well, and it whizzed over the bar.
And again, it's Martial down this left-hand side. Just played it, it's got headed out. And it's just, I think it's Herrera just played it back to him. It's a fantastic shot from about 25 yards. I think the goalkeeper just got a touch to it, and it's a corner.
It's Martial who takes it. It's headed away firmly by Mitrovic. Phil Jones' last goal for Manchester United was against West Bromwich Albion in March 2014. He almost had one there.
It's a fantastic strike.
It was, yeah, it was a
really
great strike.
And it was dipping as well.
Yep, he hit it really well. Still 2-0. We're into the last 5 minutes of the opening period. Pretty comfortable for Manchester United, who survived a rather nervy quarter of an hour, then scored, and since then, really, they've looked in pretty much in total control. Barbel's gone down. Matic brushed him. I'm not sure it was as bad as Barbel is making out. He's 32 years of age now, the former Liverpool man. He's been at Ajax, of course, and more recently Besiktas. This is his 150th appearance in English football for the Liverpool and Fulham. He has happy memories of game against United where he scored the winner for Liverpool at Anfield. Here's Pogba finding Martial, trying to find Mata. It comes out to Paul Pogba again, just outside the penalty area, just delays his ball forward and scoops it towards Diogo Dalot, who controls it well. He shoots, and that was a typical defender's finish, wasn't it? Unlike the one that Jones hit earlier. He's absolutely skied that, the young Portuguese.
Yeah, as he was leaning back and everything there, and completely skied it. But Manchester United now, everyone wants to get on the ball, everyone's enjoying it. Every time Martial gets on the ball, Manchester United look as though they're going to create something. And Fulham, apart from the first couple of minutes, have not really been in it.
They had a little flurry, didn't they? They had a header by Mitrovic and a Schürrle shot over the bar.
And Vieto had that
this
chance.
time for Matic. I think that's a totting up procedure against him, isn't it? He's gone into the referee's notebook for a challenge which Paul Tierney didn't like. Uzumuru quasi Jesse. Manchester United board must not repeat the mistake they did with Giggs. They should give Ollie a contract. He's listening in Ghana. As United clear, Schürrle hits it, and it's knocked away by Dalot. Fulham will try and come again. That looks too close to De Gea, but Smalling got up above his keeper, headed the ball away. Chambers then caught it on the volley, and David De Gea, for the first time really in the game, has to make a save. Not a difficult one, but there was no communication there between goalkeeper and defender. It looked like De Gea's ball all day long, and then Smalling nodded it away from him, and Chambers' effort was held by the United keeper.
Yeah, that's right, and the keeper was coming straight for it. He headed it away, the ball came back into the box, got headed out again. It was a fantastic shot.
Here's Shaw for United coming forward. He finds Mata in a bit of space in midfield. They've got players over here on the right-hand side. It's Romelu Lukaku, near edge of the penalty area, swirls it in too close to the keeper, who just about clings on. And he not done so. Martial was poised, but he lost it initially, but then got a glove on it and reclaimed the catch. Here's Jones, and now Herrera. Pogba, that's a lovely ball to Mata. Pogba's been terrific again today, as has Martial. They've been the two most eye-catching players on the pitch. Here's Pogba with another terrific ball across towards Dalot on this near side. No room for a cross at the moment, but does he win a corner? No, it doesn't quite go away for a corner. It was cleared by Ream. Dalot heads it back in. It's picked up by Seri, who finds Mitrovic, who's very, very deep indeed for Fulham, almost midway inside his own half. Here's Schürrle crossing halfway, pursued by Paul Pogba. We're in the last minute of the 45. There might be 2 or 3 minutes added on. We've had a couple of injuries, one to De Gea and one to Smalling for Manchester United. Here's Ream, as far forward as he has been all afternoon, knocking it back to Chambers. Here's Le Marchand, and now Dennis Odoi. Useful looking cross, good header away by Chris Smalling. This is another thing that emphasises United's strength. They've been without Smalling for a long time, so they've brought him back in, and he's had a pretty commanding performance at the back end. He's dealt with Mitrovic pretty well, hasn't he?
He knows that he's going to be in a battle with him, and he stood up. Yeah. He stood up to what's been thrown at him.
Yeah, yes indeed. 2 minutes have been added on at Craven Cottage. An enjoyable 45 minutes for the Manchester United fans who've made the trip south. Here's Ryan Babel, good control with the chest to keep the ball in. He's got support from Brian. Babel's going to swing it into the box again. It's not a very good ball, and Smalling is able to volley it away. Header by Odoi, almost drops for Lukaku. It will now drop for Pogba. Pogba pushes it cleverly into the path of Martial. Here he is again, Anthony Martial into the box, tries to tease it in towards Lukaku. I feel a bit for Lukaku. He's got into some good positions, hasn't he? But almost on every occasion, for one reason or another, the ball hasn't quite reached him. It's not really his fault.
That's right. It was a good. You saw what he tried to do there, Marshall. Just play it in between the two Fulham players into Lukaku. It got cut out, and it didn't amount to nothing. But as I say, he's working hard, Lukaku. It just hasn't fallen for him.
Here's Fulham driving through midfield with Vieto. Decent ball to find Odoi. Is there one possible last chance for the home fans before the interval? Schürrle gets the ball into the box. De Gea didn't really deal with it. It was only half cleared by United and then hoofed away eventually by Jones. They're screaming handball, the Fulham fans. I don't think it was. I think it was chest.
It was definitely chest.
My first opinion and reaction. Let's have a look at it close up. Definitely not handball. He's got his arm out, but it didn't hit it. It hit his chest.
Definite chest.
Good decision by Paul Tierney to not award a penalty, and that is half-time. Well, Paul Pogba, after a ropey opening for Manchester United, scored a brilliant goal set up by Anthony Martial, and Martial himself then scored a wonderful ball running from midway inside the Fulham half all the way through and slotting brilliantly. Fulham, apart from a lively start, have offered little or nothing really since United got that opening goal, and it looks as if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to take United into the top four at half-time at Craven Cottage. It's Fulham 0, Manchester United 2. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the Preview Show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. It's the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot. What a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's running himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance, Vardy goal. Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. Field to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com.
Is Premier League Live.
Welcome back, and at Craven Cottage, Manchester United look halfway to earning themselves a place in the top 4 of the Premier League. This is how they did it. Barber, with that distinctive maroon hair, produces a wonderful ball forward, and suddenly Fulham here are on the counter-attack, and it's a chance for Vieta, and he hasn't taken it.
The ball's come over there from Schürrle, and it's Vieta. He's got to score. At least he's got to work. He's got to work the goalkeeper. Definitely. He didn't do anything.
Martial to Pogba, who's onside and scores from a very, very difficult angle indeed. That is a lovely finish by Paul Pogba.
Herrera played it down the line, and it's Pogba, and I think the goalkeeper was expecting a cross as well, but it's Pogba who's had a look, and he's beat the keeper at the near post. Fantastic finish.
Here's Martial, brilliant run, fantastic goal. Anthony Martial all on his own. He just cut through Fulham with his pace and precision, and has side-footed the ball beautifully into the corner of the net, midway point in the first half, and Manchester United seemingly now have total control. Well, they didn't really lose that total control, did they? I mean, it looks done and dusted, really, doesn't it, this one, I would say?
Yeah, it does. Manchester United took them a bit of time to get into the game, but once they got the first goal, they've just completely took control of the game.
I mean, Fulham played quite well for 10 minutes, but, the old problem, 2 chances for United, 2 goals, and, they were both brilliantly taken, but the first one was the result of them giving away the ball in a dangerous area, Fulham, and the second one, the defenders couldn't get close to Martial, really.
Yeah, that's right. And Martial's goal, it's a fantastic finish. Every time he's got the ball, he's looking to drive forward with it. Every single time he's got it. Not once has he got it and just laid it off. He's looking to attack, and he picked the ball up in his own half with his goal, and he's driving forward. Odoi couldn't really get near him, and it's a really, really good finish.
And when you consider that, United have got Jesse Lingard, Alexis Sanchez and Marcus Rashford on the bench,
well,
I mean, they've got this huge sequence of massive games coming up, but I mean, if they get to sort of midway through the half, it's still 2-0. I mean, he's going to be able to rest players, he's going to be able to switch things around, but it's not going to impair the quality, is it?
No, the one thing Fulham won't want, they'll know what's on the bench, and Rashford, I think, he's been brilliant this season, and Lukaku hasn't really got into it. He's worked hard, hasn't really had any sniffs at goal, but he's working hard. And as I say, Manchester United's got a very good bench.
Fulham, I suppose they could take heart from the first 10 minutes or so. Vieto missed a great chance, didn't he, very early on. Then Mitrovic put himself about a bit. But they're I don't know, everything has dissipated and faded since then, hasn't it? They haven't really been able to impose themselves at all.
Yeah, Vieto's got to score there. It's a good cross from Schürrle. What is he, 5 yards out, corner of the 6-yard box, and he's put it in the side net, and he's got to score there, and that's the difference. And we said at the time, if Manchester United had that chance, they'd score it, which they have.
Amazing to think that United will get themselves into the top four. It'll give Chelsea plenty to think about because they face City tomorrow, don't they? So, it will be, I think, what would it be, 20, I can't do maths, that basically they've won, there will be 8 wins and a draw in 9 Premier League games since, stupid of me to try and work it out. I can't multiply by 3 to save my life, but anyway, it just goes on. It's a juggernaut, isn't it?
I keep saying the turnaround is incredible, and it's just that every single Man United player now is running around and working for the team. They weren't doing that before. They're doing it now, and they're getting the rewards.
Well, we've got another game coming up for you at 3 o'clock. It's Liverpool against Bournemouth. Liverpool looking to get back on top of the table. Let's hear from Jurgen Klopp. He says they're still going to have to fight to win the Premier League.
If you want to be top of the table and a champion at the end of the season, you have to show in situations like that real passion, real desire. You have to fight. That's what you have to do. You cannot come through with passing a little bit around and stuff like that. You have to go through, and I got a message this week, and that's another sign that's something obviously that people think I need help, and I don't need help. Thank you very much, but I'm fine.
I do like Jurgen Klopp. Yeah, he's going to do it his own way. Let's have a quick word with the Bournemouth boss, Eddie Howe, who knows he's going to have to defend well against a dangerous Liverpool team.
I think we've always proved that we can put our game together against these teams and produce some really strong performances. The results, it's always a difficult one to define. The Chelsea result for us was everything coming together with the result. There have been other games this season where I felt we've performed really, really well and just missed out. But yeah, if we can put it all together, as you say, defend well, we're going to have to in this game. We're going to have to defend well for long periods. But if we can show that mentality and desire to defend our goal, then I believe we'll have moments in the game that we can show what we're capable of the other way.
And that one's coming up at 3 o'clock with Dan Wheeler and Chris Birdshaw coming up in just a moment. We will have the second half of Manchester United at Fulham. United seemingly in total control and heading, it would seem, towards another 3 points under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, unless Fulham can produce something dramatic, and goodness me, they need to. It's coming up live in just a second, the second period of this one. You're listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much.
Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor Game.
Register now and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in
TalkSport £1 million Predictor Game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre and post may go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's running himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites? favourites.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League preview show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Fulham against Manchester United from Craven Cottage. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former Fulham fullback, Rufus Brevitt. This is Premier League Live. Well, the two teams are not yet out for the second half in this lovely old stadium. It's one of the most traditional grounds in London. Rufus, you played here. It's got the little cottage in one corner. You've got the River Thames running alongside the back of one of the stands. Bishop's Park is it's a fantastic walk, isn't it, from Putney Bridge Tube through the park down to Craven Cottage. It's a lovely traditional ground, a wonderful setting.
It is. It was, I had 7 years there, and it was, a really good time in my career. It's a great place to play football.
Yeah, it's a lovely club, friendly, always welcoming. Great, as you say, great place to watch football. United are back out for the second half, followed by Fulham. Goals by Paul Pogba on 14 minutes and Anthony Martial on 23 have put the Reds in total control of this one. Some more tweets coming in at half-time. Ladies and gentlemen, says, I know everybody is calling for Manchester United to make Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job permanent, but I think that's premature. Right now it's sunny. I think they should wait for the rainy day. What he means is, I think it's maybe it's a little bit early because of the honeymoon period and the fact that everything's going so well. Maybe they should wait and have a look. It's a fair point.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, listen, they were 2-0 down against. Who were they 2-0 down against? And
Burnley.
Come back to Burnley. 2-0 down and come back and won and drew. 2-2. So they've not had it their own way, but they've shown that they've got that fight.
Yeah. Ayodeji David says he's listening in Ibatho, Nigeria. Lukaku should be subbed for lack of participation. I think that's a bit harsh, to be honest. I think he's tried his best. I tell you, he hasn't been subbed at half-time, and nor has anyone else. The two teams are lined up in formation, waiting for the referee Paul Tierney to blow his whistle and get us underway in the second half. That he does. United attacking the Hammersmith end of Craven Cottage in the second period, which is where most of the Fulham fans are located. Here's Pogba, whose lovely goal gave United the lead. Mata swings it out. United will want to make a better start to the second half than they did in the first, certainly. Dalot plays it infield to Herrera and then down the line, but it's blocked by Fulham. Joe Bryant was in the way. Here is Dalot finding Pogba. United looking to make an early impact. It's in towards Martial. Martial inside the box, shielding the ball. Finds Juan Mata. I think that was a shot by Mata, who tried to steer it in. The follow-up shot was by Herrera, and then another, but he sliced the second one, and it was cleared by Joe Bryant. Fulham have Sergio Rico in goal, a back four of Denis Odoi, Maxime Lemarchand, Tim Ream and Joe Bryan. The midfield is Luciano Vieto, Jean-Michel Seri, Callum Chambers and Ryan Babel. Up front, Andre Schürrle, who's playing quite wide on the right-hand side. The lone striker really is Alexander Mitrovic. I'll give you the United team in the moment because they're on the attack at the moment, with Dalot on the edge of the penalty area. Gets the ball in, Lukaku's there, and the header's not a good one. It was presentable opportunity. It's the first time they've really picked him out, but the header lacked conviction. It sort of went up rather than towards the goal and didn't trouble Fulham at all.
Yeah, he couldn't quite. It was a decent ball in, but he just couldn't quite get round and head the ball down on target. It kind of come off the side of his head and amounted to nothing. But it's the first real ball that is been put in there for him to attack.
United have De Gea in goal. The back four is Diogo Dalot, Phil Jones, Chris Smalling and Luke Shaw. And Herrera, Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba in midfield, Juan Mata, Romelu Lukaku and Anthony Martial. 6 changes from the Manchester United team that beat Leicester last weekend, including the likes of Sanchez, Rashford and Lingard on the bench. Lindelof injured, we understand. Here's Le Marchand for Fulham, finding Seri. It's a rather sedate pace at the moment, but well, if Fulham are going to get anything out of this, they need a goal early in the second half, really. Haven't had that many problems scoring them, it's conceding them that's been the Achilles heel this season, no doubt about that. Here's Schürrle, who had a chance early on. That's not a bad looking cross, but it's actually in the end drifted beyond David De Gea and over his crossbar for a Manchester United goal kick. Otis Rabbi Sadat says that De Gea and Pogba are making his fantasy team go crazy from Accra, Ghana. Well, the Fulham fans are a little bit quiet, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's
they
a
are.
sort of resigned mood, isn't it? You know, I don't think they probably, in their heart of hearts, expected to get very much from this game. They'll have been encouraged briefly by the start that they made, but really, they've been second best for most of this one. Ball is cleared by Bryan, up towards Mitrovic. Header away by Jones is a good one. Back to Smalling. Smalling very calmly steers it out wide to Diogo Dalot, who chips it down the line too far in front of Ander Herrera. Not a huge amount of quality yet in the second half. The only chance really was that header by Lukaku that was a long way off target. United looking for their 6th consecutive away victory, a feat they haven't achieved for a decade. Fulham look as if they are for the 9th time this season going to lose to one of the so-called Big 6 clubs. Smalling just switched off for a moment there. There was a lazy ball forward and Vietto was onto him. Smalling didn't seem to be aware of his presence. No harm done for United. They eventually cleared, but
yeah, it was Vietto chasing the ball down. Smalling didn't know what was behind him, and then all of a sudden he's felt his presence and just was strong enough to hold him off.
Throw in by Dalot. Here's Matic, one of the players who was booked in the opening half. There were 3 of them, 2 from Fulham as well. Here's Odoi, pushed over by Martial, scorer of that wonderful second goal, which I'm sure will be a goal of the month contender. Took it from inside his own half and just drove forward before producing a wonderful finish. And that sort of deflated Fulham's balloon considerably. Here's Ream, out to Bryan on the far side. Now Babel, just toe poking it back to Ream again. Babel once more. His hair matches the colour of his once Liverpool shirt. He was getting booed a bit by the Manchester United fans in the first half, but they seem to have got bored with doing that. So here is Bryan into the United box, but straight out by Jones, and then a good turn by Lukaku, who picks out Herrera. Herrera clips it away towards Pogba, centre circle. Nice little bit of skill by him. And he's good. He's extraordinary, isn't he, Pogba? Here's Herrera again, out to Juan Mata on the right-hand side for United. Plays a crossfield ball to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw just outside the penalty area, leaves it for Anthony Martial wearing gloves. He finds Pogba likewise. Pogba clips it in. It's a good ball. Here's Mata. Mata tries to set up Martial. Martial trying to find space for a shot. He does, but it's blocked by Sergio Rico, who then grabs the loose ball. It was nice play by United inside the penalty area, but no end product from Martial.
Yeah, it was good playing again. It's Pogba who just played a little ball into the running Mata, played it into Martial. He had a couple of Fulham players around him, and inside the box, just couldn't get the shot on goal.
He's extraordinarily good at those little reverse passes, isn't he, Pogba?
It's the no-look passes where you look in one way and put it the other way.
Here he is again. He's so strong as well, isn't he? Finds Lukaku, that's a decent ball, but Lukaku was offside. Been a frustrating afternoon for Romelu Lukaku, back in the team today. He has got 9 goals this season, but he hasn't scored in 5 in the Premier League. And at the other end, there's a rather half-hearted attempt by Callum Chambers. He was completely off balance, and he's ballooned the ball way over the top of the crossbar. Cyrus Christie is going to come on for Fulham. Probably would have started today, but was struggling with a thigh injury. He's been put on the bench now. Then he's taken off Andre Schürrle. Is that damage limitation?
Well, I think it could be. I mean,
he's a right back, isn't he?
It's a strange one.
Player.
Yeah, it's a strange one, that.
Unless he's just going to push him forward down, because Schürrle's been occupying that right flank for the majority of the game. It's a strange substitution.
Yeah, it is. I think he'll just play him a little bit further forward, because he's got pace, Christie.
Yeah.
But we'll have a look.
It's not desperately positive, is it, in the 8th minute of the second half? Here's Anthony Martial for Manchester United. Again, he's bearing down on Fulham, and well, for once they deal with it well. Good play by Dennis Odoi, just stood him up, put his shoulder into him, and the ball rolled out of play behind for a goal kick. They haven't really been able to deal with him on too many occasions. Martial has been absolutely terrific today. Here's Seri, and now Tim Ream, but under pressure he has to play the ball backwards. Man United fans are still singing at Craven Cottage at the other end from where the ball is, with Rico, who knocks it down the middle, right-footed. Phil Jones climbs and wins the header. It comes out to Ryan Babel. Babel drives forward for Fulham. He's got support here from Christie, who's just come on. The cross finds Brian, but he couldn't really control it. It's come out to Christie again, who's going to let it run out of play. He wants to take a throw quickly because Callum Chambers is scampering down the inside right channel, but he's not able to do that, so instead it's come to Babel. It's rolled back to Odoi, and now Le Marchand. Odoi again. Little spell of possession here for Fulham. They're just inside the Manchester United half. Third goal for United, you suspect, would end it as a contest entirely, but if Fulham can pinch one from somewhere, Mitrovic would be the most likely source, you'd think. He's just played the ball back in towards Seri, centre midfield, and it's clipped across towards Cyrus Christie, who is occupying this right hand side. He's a right midfield player, isn't he, really?
He is.
Odoi is still at right back. Here is Christie. Cross is headed away by Jones quite straightforwardly, but Fulham have it again. Here's Ryan Babel. Just takes too heavy a touch. It springs off, and Pogba's going to let the ball go out of play. A little bit more encouraging there for Fulham.
Yeah, a little bit. They've seen quite a bit of the ball. Not really penetrating the Manchester United back four. Playing in front of Manchester United are quite happy for Fulham to move the ball from side to side in front of them. They need to try and get the ball into Mitrovic and have runners off him.
10 minutes of the second half. United still leading through those two splendid first half goals by two Frenchmen, Martial and Pogba. Here is going to launch the ball into the Fulham half. Up goes Martial, who was unopposed. Can't quite find Lukaku though, and Christie will drive it forward. Smalling is there and sweeps it back to David De Gea. David De Gea knocks it long again. Rather untidy at the moment. Smalling into Mata, back to Smalling again. That's a good ball through to Juan Mata, who's on his way. He's managed to pick out Dalot. Dalot's cross hit too hard, and it'll evade everybody in the box and go out for a throw-in on this near side. Don't forget we've got Liverpool against Bournemouth coming up, and all the other games as well. And to round it all off today, Brighton against Burnley from the Amex Stadium. Then tomorrow, Tottenham against Leicester City. Here's Martial trying to get into the box for Manchester United, but he was offside anyway. It was a combination of defenders that managed to halt him with a block tackle.
And it's Pogba again with that reverse pass.
Marshall went too early, didn't he?
Yeah, it was. And then it's a shame because he was looking along the line and he had a lot of space in front of him. Didn't really need to be offside there.
Yeah, here's Ream out to Brian for Fulham. Well, haven't given up hope yet of producing something. It would be quite a story if they could get even a point. But as it is, well, 17 points. Last season, 34 would have kept you up. So they'd have to double their tally in 12 games if they lose this one.
It's a massive,
it
massive
looks likely. I mean, as it stands, they're 7 points behind Burnley. That could get worse if Cardiff, Burnley or Southampton were to win. Here's Vieto. Missed a glorious chance. It might have been a different game if he'd have scored that very early on. Here's Brian. Good run by him down the left-hand side, but good defending too by Smalling, who blocked it. It's going to be a corner to Fulham.
Smalling's been very good today.
Yes.
Again, it's Brian who's driving forward. Smalling spotted the danger, ran across and just stopped the ball from getting in the box. Blocked the cross, and it's a corner to Fulham.
Well, set piece might be the opportunity for Fulham. It's their third corner of the game. Jean-Michel Seri is going to swing it in, and United just about deal with it. Mata will bring it away. There might be a counter here. The ball is pushed on towards Pogba. Pogba trying to push and run his way past Tim Ream, and he's done that. It's Paul Pogba. First time ball into the box, only half cleared. Juan Mata picks it up for United. Pogba still in support. Swells it out towards Martial. Martial can't quite control it properly and is forced to go backwards, but it finds Matic. Well, Ream had no answer to Pogba's strength there, did he? Just shrugged him off.
Do you know what?
It wasn't as if he used his pace, it was his strength, really. Here he is again, Pogba on the ball, finding Herrera. Back to Paul Pogba again, who's been completely controlling things in midfield, hasn't he, today?
You can tell the way he plays is enjoying his football, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's getting on the ball, little flicks, moving the ball across. You know, he's been absolutely fantastic.
Both of the goal scorers, you could argue, were players who, so you made the criticism that it didn't look as if they were putting enough effort in under Mourinho. They certainly are now.
Well,
Martial was another. They had a row, didn't they, in the pre-season tour.
Yeah.
Here he is on the ball now, Anthony Martial, just wriggling or trying to wriggle away from Cyrus Christie, who's fouled him, the Irish international who's on as a substitute.
When Pogba got that ball on this right-hand side, he's knocked it really far in front of him, and Ream, he just brushed him off.
He did, totally. Here's Pogba again on that right-hand side, just plays a diagonal ball to Herrera, back to Juan Mata, Mata to Dalot, now Pogba again. United just keeping possession quite comfortably here. Pogba's gone down, it's going to be a free kick for a foul by Seri, just short of an hour played at the Cottage, where Fulham look as if they are going to make no improvement on their current plight. The free kick is taken very quickly, probably too quickly, and he went straight to Rico, the goalkeeper, who clears up towards Ryan Babel, who's tussling with Matic. Matic wins the ball, but can only play it down into the midfield area, where Seri picks it up and finds Christie down the line by him to Babel. Babel back to Christie, good cover by Luke Shaw, and now Herrera. And now Mata, who scampers away from the challenge of Chambers, plays the ball over the top, and Martial is into the Fulham penalty area again. It's Anthony Martial. It's a very poor chip. The defender just almost knocked it away from his own goalkeeper there for Fulham, and it's come back to Martial again. That should have been a routine claim by the keeper, and there was a defender in front of him. United did that in the first half with Smalling, which led to a chance. Here's Martial again. Centre midfield finds Matic to Dalot. It's all United at the moment, but Fulham have got everybody back behind the ball. Here's Luke Shaw, clips it into the box a little bit too casual, and it's cleared by Fulham. Mata will pick it up far side and find Dalot. Mata again. United pushing and probing. Mata's found Pogba, who's now operating on the left-hand side. Clever ball, but didn't quite get it past the last defender. He was looking for Mata. Here he is again, Pogba, and again, and shoots low. It's blocked on the edge of the box by Fulham, but he's looking in the mood, isn't he, Pogba? Now every time he gets the ball, you just sense that something's going to happen for United?
Fulham have got no answer to what they've got in front of them today. Manchester United in total control. You've got Pogba, who's just instigating things in the midfield, pulling the strings, moving the ball about. At the minute, Fulham have really got no answer.
Second best as you'd expect them to be, I suppose, when you glance at the Premier League table, which at the moment has Manchester United in 4th place above Chelsea by a point. Emmanuel Ampadu says, I'll tell you what it says in a minute, the ball is into the box, it's claimed by De Gea. He says if Manchester United win today, it's a high motivation for Chelsea. We play the other side of Manchester tomorrow. The fight for the top 4 is on, it certainly is. Here's Lukaku for United. Can't quite find Martial. It's intercepted by Odoi. Here's Seri for Fulham, who picks out Christie across his halfway, pursued by Lukaku, and Pogba's won it again. Well, he's utterly dominant, isn't he? He's the central figure in every sense, isn't he, Pogba, at the moment? I mean, he's creating chances, he's driving forward, he's making tackles. He's doing everything you'd want and everything you'd expect from a player of his quality.
Yeah.
Here's Herrera forward to Martial. Now Lukaku. Lukaku has a look up and spots Luke Shaw arriving on the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. He's found Pogba, who slides it into Martial on the edge of the box. Back out it comes to Luke Shaw. Shaw low in, doesn't find Mata, but does find Herrera, who fires first time, and it was a good save by Sergio Rico. It did come straight at him, but it came at venomous pace, and the Fulham goalkeeper just stuck out a glove and was able just to push the ball away to safety, or it would have been 3-0.
It was a good strike. He's hit it hard, straight at the goalkeeper. Firm hand to just push it away.
Here's Phil Jones. United look in the mood for a third, don't they? Somebody else made the point. I'm not sure who it was on Twitter. I'm just trying to find it. But I think the quote was something along the lines of when Phil Jones had that shot, Mourinho probably would have been annoyed, and he likes the fact that United are driving forward to try and get a third goal rather than parking the bus Mourinho style. Certainly that's what they're doing at the moment. It was Monsieur G who said that. Imagine the reaction Mourinho if Jones had taken a shot where he was in charge. Just the fact they're going for it instead of parking buses, the old United. Here's Lukaku to Mata. Mata goes down in the box. Penalties given it. Mata went over under a challenge as he tried to control the ball, and Paul Tierney has pointed to the penalty spot after the break by Lukaku. Odoi and Christie are remonstrating with the official. We're going to get another look at it here. Lukaku has a look up. Mata turns away. Well, he was clattered by Le Marchand, wasn't he? He's gone through him. Bit of a needless challenge because the back heeled it away from him, but he's taken him down, and it's a penalty for Manchester United in the 65th minute, which will give them an opportunity, surely, to absolutely put the game to bed once and for all. It's the game's outstanding player, Paul Pogba, who steps up to try and claim his second of the game. Here he comes, the little stutter, and the ball into the net. Manchester United have done the job surely now. Pogba gets his second, and Manchester United lead at Craven Cottage by 3-0.
It really was a fantastic penalty. You knew that you weren't going to miss, but the goalkeeper's gone the right way. But the power, the precision of the pass into the corner, and it's 3-0.
Well, there has been criticism of that technique, hasn't there? He doesn't do it for quite as long as he used to, but it's a brilliant penalty. You're right, he's just curled it superbly into the corner, and well, that's job done, isn't it? 65 minutes gone. Fulham 0, Manchester United 3. They're improving their goal difference as well, although it is vastly inferior to all of the other clubs around them apart from Arsenal.
You just see this Man United team, and everyone is enjoying the football.
Yeah,
they're expressing themselves. They're playing with a little bit of freedom, and it really is. It's just back to how you expect Manchester United to play.
I've worked it out. It's 25 points from a possible 27 since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer arrived. It's not bad going, is it?
Absolutely incredible.
And you could argue that although they nearly lost to Burnley, it was almost a sort of Fergie time type. Remember they used to do that, didn't they, under Alex Ferguson? They, you remember the famous game against Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it, when Steve Bruce got 2 late headers which paved the way for them to end their long wait for the title back in '93.
And
that's a good quality to have, isn't it? If you don't play well and you're losing 2, you've still got the ability to grab late goals. Here's Babel for Fulham, whose goal difference has taken an even worse battering now. Minus 32. They've conceded for the 58th time this season with that penalty. And, well, if it wasn't damage limitation before, it is now. It's just a case of trying to keep the lid on things. Here's Seri, centre midfield. Haven't even reached the midway point in the second half yet. It's a decent ball by Seri. Out to Christie. Christie's tackled by Martial, tracking back, and Martial's given away a corner. But again, that's another thing. Martial, he wasn't terribly keen on doing that under Mourinho, was he? Just tracking back into a corner.
I was just about to say that, and he's back into the defensive half as a fullback.
Corner to Fulham. It's an outswinger, and it hits Matic. It doesn't go out of play, as if things weren't bad enough for Fulham. It looks as if Alexis Sanchez is going to come on in a minute for Manchester United. I mean, this is what we said at half-time, wasn't it? You get your third goal, you're midway inside the half. He can rest whoever he likes now, can't he, really?
Yeah. And, he's, as I say, he's made a few changes. And like I said at the beginning of the game, the team, when they started, it looked like they needed time to get together, but they've been very, very good.
Very efficient today. Yeah. I mean, they've got that big game against PSG coming up on Tuesday, but I suppose the other thing is it hasn't really been a gut-busting performance, has it? They haven't really had to overstretch themselves to win this game. Here's Mitrovic. No goal for him yet today. Here's Bryan. And Fulham, to their credit, are trying to create some sort of forward momentum, as the Manchester United fans at that end sing. It's a very weak shot by Callum Chambers, and it rolls gratefully into the arms of David De Gea, who's made one save as far as I can remember. It was hit straight at him, and it was a fairly routine one. Here's Pogba again. Fulham just can't seem to either get the ball off Pogba or prevent him from winning it in midfield. Sanchez is going to come on now. We're just waiting to see who the Chilean is going to replace. It's going to be Anthony Martial. He's had a terrific afternoon, scored an absolutely brilliant goal, one of the best in the Premier League in recent weeks, certainly. Took it from inside his own half all the way through and planted a lovely shot into the corner. So Alexis Sanchez, who rather like Lukaku, you would say, probably needs it, although United are much improved under Solskjaer and things are going better. I think Sanchez needs to step up a bit, doesn't he? Because he hasn't been the same player since he left Arsenal.
No, he hasn't. And, to replace someone like Martial with someone with the ability of Alexis Sanchez, it just shows what Manchester United have got.
Well, here is Sanchez getting on the end of a ball by Herrera and keeping the ball in play well. He's in the penalty area. The attempted slip ball to Shaw is blocked by Dennis Adoy, but again, Pogba it's like the ball's tied to his laces, isn't it? He just extraordinary.
Can't get near him.
Here's Sanchez again, near the byline on the right-hand side. Once again, his cross is not able to get where he wanted it. But here's Shaw. My prediction of 4-0 is probably still looking quite good. Here's Pogba into the box for Lukaku. Lukaku to Sanchez, who stumbles over in the act of trying to shoot. Tries to square it from the deck to Mata, but it's cleared by Fulham. 20 minutes gone at Craven Cottage. Fulham just desperately trying to avoid any further damage on what has been a very, very difficult day for them. Here's Smalling. He's lost it though on halfway. And Vieto will try and get it upfield. It's blocked by Mata. It drops for Tim Ream, tall, bearded American international, once of Bolton Wanderers. Here's Adoy. And now Cyrus Christie. Qualifies for the Republic of Ireland via his grandmother. That's a decent ball. Crossfield by Chambers. And it's picked out Joe Bryan, who once scored for Bristol City against Manchester United in a League Cup quarter-final not so long ago. They ended up losing the tie. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't been particularly animated. He's in conversation with Mike Phelan and Michael Carrick to Manchester United greats alongside him. I think the fans like that, don't they? The fact that there's a link with the past, and all three of those.
They're certainly playing. They're certainly playing like the past.
Yeah, they are, absolutely. Here's Fulham trying to break out of defence with Le Marchand, who flicks it into Chambers. Now it's Odoi, who crosses halfway, veering away towards the left-hand side, trying to get the ball into that area for Joe Bryan, who'll keep it in on the far side, just level with the edge of the 18-yard area. Rolls it back to Seri, and now Chambers going a little bit backwards at the moment, Fulham, but Cyrus Christie is on this near side. They've had spells of possession, Fulham, but Manchester United have never really been threatened by it. I mean, this is a case in point. They're just knocking it around.
It's like Manchester United are letting them have the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and then once they get into here, then they're closing down.
Here's Mitrovic, though. Barbel edge of the box, blocked by United. Spills out to Christie. Christie will cross from this side. Good header by Alexander Mitrovic. Good save by David De Gea. Mitrovic got his header on target. It wasn't an easy header either. He did well. He got plenty behind it, but De Gea dived to his left-hand side to make a two-handed catch.
Yeah, it was a decent cross from Christie, but it was just behind Mitrovic. It's just behind him. He's managed to get the ball on target, and it was a good save a comfortable save from De Gea.
Decent header. They're going to get a substitution as the ball goes out of play on the far side. It's Scott McTominay, the young Scottish midfield player, who's going to come on. His 12th appearance of the season, and Paul Pogba, there's the luxury for Solskjaer. He's been absolutely magnificent today, and he'll get a well-deserved break ahead of the Champions League in midweek.
He's been the star. Him and Martial have been. Smalling has done really well as well. Smalling has done really well as well. It's been a very good to Manchester United. With the header up towards Sanchez. Might be in here for another.
Towards the goalkeeper, who punches this time one-handed. It'll be controlled by Alexis Sanchez, who goes into the penalty area, plays the ball in. There's the header, and Scott McTominay almost scored with virtually his first touch coming on as a sub, getting across to the flight of Sanchez's lofted cross and just flicking it with his head a fraction too high.
Yeah, it was, and Sanchez, just a minute ago, for me, he's got to score. He's straight at the goalkeeper, and the keeper's made the save. But for me, he's a player of his ability. He's got to score there.
McTominay has never scored for Manchester United yet in his career, but he wasn't far away there. Lancashire born, but his dad's a Scot, which is why he wears the blue of Scotland internationally. Here's Phil Jones of England, out to Luke Shaw. And now McTominay again to Sanchez. United look in the mood for... This is classic Solskjaer, isn't it? They're not running for the corner flag, are they? They're trying to get another goal, which I always like to see teams do. Here's Shaw, clever ball, but not quite clever enough to reach Lukaku. It was well read by Le Marchand, whose dreadful header a moment ago gave Sanchez that chance. That's not a very good clearance by him either. Here's Lukaku for United. The icing on the cake for them would be a goal for him, wouldn't it? Yeah. That would make the afternoon perfect.
Yes, because it's not really worked for him today. He's worked hard, he has worked hard, but it just hasn't fallen for him at times.
No. Here's Le Marchand for Fulham. We're inside the last 15 minutes. Don't forget, we've got Liverpool against Bournemouth coming up with Dan Wheeler and Chris Birchall, followed by Brighton and Hove Albion against Burnley tomorrow, Tottenham, Leicester, Manchester City, Chelsea, and on Monday it's Wolves against Newcastle. As Fulham look to score and they break out of nowhere, the ball came across to Ryan Babel. He flicked at it and he's hit the outside of the post with his shot. United for once were caught out at the back. It was a cross by Bryan that they didn't deal with. Smalling left it, it hit Jones, and Babel just tried to tuck it in side the post and ended up hitting that post. He should have scored.
Well, he's about a yard out and he's gone for it. He's a yard out, he's gone for it with the outside of his right and he's hit the post and it's gone out wide, and that sums Fulham up.
Yeah, it does. That's his last action of the game. He's been substituted, and Tom Kearney, who got the winning goal in the playoff final last season against Aston Villa, which took Fulham into the Premier League for the first time since 2014, has come on. He hasn't scored actually since that goal at Wembley. Here's Joe Bryan for Fulham, left hand side, crossing halfway. Good tackle by Dalot. He's done okay, hasn't he, young Dalot?
He's done well. He's going forward. He's been a threat. Looks a very, very decent player on the ball.
Still a teenager. Odoi forward for Fulham. Here's Christie. Back to Dennis Odoi. It's Seri. And now Christie. Bit of space right hand side for him. Sit back from Kearney, who's just come on. Here's Seri. Closed down by Lukaku. Gets the ball out wide. It's nodded down towards Mitrovic, but then won by Ander Herrera. And then by Mata, but his ball is an aimless one. And Fulham will try and come again. Ball is pinged across field towards Christie. It's not going to reach him. And,
you saw what Sheck Chambers tried to do there. Just saw the space on the right hand side. Just overhit his pass.
Well, we're approaching the conclusion of this one. Manchester United will be in 4th place in the Premier League, 6 points behind Tottenham Hotspur, 1 above Chelsea, 4 above Arsenal. Not really in touch with the top 2, both of whom currently have 62 points, although Liverpool could change that if they get a result against Bournemouth today. Here's Sanchez chasing down the flank for United. It's blocked by Kearney for a Manchester United throw. Shaw's not in any great hurry to take this. It's been the perfect game, really, to, if you wanted a game in the run-up to the resumption of the Champions League, and not much has gone wrong for United, really. They've won handsomely. They've rested the players they've needed to rest. He's been able to change the team. We haven't seen Lingard today. We haven't seen Bailly today. We haven't seen Young today. We've seen Rashford today. It's pretty much what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have woken up this morning seeing as a perfect scenario, I think.
Absolute perfect. And apart from the first 5-10 minutes, Fulham haven't really laid a glove on Manchester United today.
Fulham fans are drifting away. Here's Sanchez picking up from a poor ball and then playing a poor ball himself. It was intended for Lukaku. I still continue to feel sorry for Lukaku. He hasn't had the best service, has he?
Yeah, and he's made a good run there, and again it was everything that's played into him is either overhit or underhit. As we saw there, it was overhit.
It's starting to rain quite heavily at Craven Cottage. We're going to get another substitution by Fulham. Joe Bryan is coming off. He's going to be replaced by the 18-year-old wide midfield player Ryan Sessegnon. As mentioned, the Fulham fans drifting away from the ground at 3-0 down. An amazing game last night in the Championship. Aston Villa were 3-0 down against Sheffield United. Billy Sharp hat-trick. Virtually all of the Villa fans had enough. They left. They ended up drawing 3-3 with 3 goals in the last 7 minutes. And virtually all of their fans missed it. Incredible stuff. Amazing. I don't think that's going to happen today, frankly, but it just goes to show that
you never know.
I've never understood it, really. You don't really. All that happens is you leave the ground you get into your car and then you spend longer in a traffic jam. I can't see the point in it.
You might as well just stay and watch the team.
I suppose if you're going to go to the pub and drown your sorrows, it's maybe worth doing. But I always stay. If I'm watching a game as a fan, I never leave before I like cheering the players off anyway. Unless they've been absolutely awful. Anyway, here's Sanchez for Manchester United, looking to put the icing on the cake with a fourth goal, but he's going away from that goal at the moment. The ball is played square though to Herrera, and now Mata. That's a lovely turn by him, and he's found McTominay, who can't find a way through. It's cleared by Christie, only as far as McTominay, who plays it square to Shaw. Oh dear, Shaw was trying to cross. He's got a smile. You can afford to smile when you're 3-0 up. It's a dreadful mess, wasn't he? He was trying to curl it, and he's basically kicked it straight out of play.
Yeah, you saw what he was trying to do there. It's come onto his left side, and his left side's normally very good, Shaw, but he got it all wrong, and it just went over the bar.
Inside the last 10 minutes at Craven Cottage, where Manchester United are heading for a 6th successive away win, the first time they've achieved that in 10 years. A 10th win under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, just the one blip against Burnley, and 4th place in the Premier League ahead of those massive games they've got. They're playing Paris Saint-Germain at Old Trafford on Tuesday. Next weekend it's the FA Cup. They've got Chelsea away in the biggest game of the 5th round weekend, and then after that they entertain Liverpool. So I think what one of our Twitter followers was rightly saying is maybe at the end of all that you make a firmer decision on Solskjaer. Let's see what happens in Europe. I mean, if they beat each other, they've already knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. And then obviously beating Liverpool is something that Manchester United fans enjoy more than anything else.
Yes, that's the big one to them. If they stop them,
the United fans that I know have said that they'd rather City won the title because they don't want Liverpool getting within one, because Liverpool have won it 18 times and United 20. So the last thing they want is Liverpool getting close to their record. Here's Shaw. 7 minutes left at Craven Cottage. It's pretty much job done. It's a question of whether United might fancy another. Sanchez square. Herrera gets it back from Mata and finds Jones. Jones just manoeuvres forward again. Well, he almost scored in the first half. They're all screaming shoot, the Manchester United fans. Dalot receives the ball instead. Here's Juan Mata. And Dalot on the far side, low ball in towards Lukaku, doesn't quite reach him. It was well defended by Le Marchand. Had he not been there, Lukaku would have had a tap in. Instead, United have got a corner.
It was a good low cross there from Dalot. A lot of pace, and it was Le Marchand who just got there ahead of Lukaku and put it out for a corner.
Eric Bailly is about to come on for Manchester United to replace Ander Herrera. Bailly, who's back into the team in recent weeks after a couple of another player who didn't seem to be very happy under Jose Mourinho and seems a good deal happier now. He's going to come on. That's the last sub for United, who've already got Sanchez and McTominay on the pitch. Means that Herrera is rested ahead of the Champions League.
He's all smiles, high fives for Herrera, who's again, he's been had a very good game.
Yeah, he's played well. 5.5 minutes to go. United have a corner. Lukaku would love to get on the end of it, but he doesn't. It's headed away by Ream. Here's McTominay, strong again for United. His ball in, decent looking one. Smalling's there and couldn't quite connect. Well, Smalling would have fancied a goal against his former club. He'd stayed up following the corner. He was onside, and he's a tall man, but he couldn't quite stretch his left leg far enough.
No, he couldn't. And McTominay showed good strength there on the far side.
Yes.
And put a fantastic ball across the face of the goal. Smalling just couldn't get there.
I would say this is potentially a problem for Fulham. Is they've been out-muscled, haven't they, by United? Not just outplayed.
Yeah.
There's so many challenges, like we saw that one there, and plenty from Pog, by the way. United have just been more tenacious, which is worrying. If you're in a scrap down the bottom,
Fulham haven't laid a glove on Manchester United.
Here's Cyrus Christie for Fulham. He's on the edge of the United penalty area, and he's found Kearney, who tries to tee up Seri. Seri knocks it back. It's clipped forward by Chambers, flicked away by Bailly. That's his first involvement, and he's made a good defensive header away from young Ryan Sessegnon, who was trying to get on the end of that. It is a corner to Fulham, who've had one more in the game than Manchester United. Seri takes it, goes short to young Ryan Sessegnon, who you fear if you're a Fulham fan, as the ball comes in towards Mitrovic and is cleared. Probably won't be there next season if they get relegated, because a lot of clubs are interested, aren't they?
Yeah.
Here's Christie.
Strange choice from Christie there. He's on the edge of the box, turns round and passes it to the halfway line.
Here's Odoi. It's a terrible ball, and so is that from Manchester United. The subsequent shot goes wide from Kearney off his left foot, and stays Fulham 0, Manchester United 3.
Yeah, there just doesn't really seem a plan from Fulham today. They've had a bit of possession at times, have never really hurt Manchester United. But then when Manchester United got on the ball, they're looking to penetrate the Fulham.
I've just seen a graphic here saying that both teams have had 15 attempts, but you'd have to say the ones that Fulham have had haven't quite been of the quality of the ones that United have had. Here's a lovely flick by Lukaku to find Mata. Mata goes down, nothing given. Fulham have it 3 minutes left, but almost give it away. It's picked up by Vieto, though, who's been pretty anonymous in the second half. Christie coming down the right-hand side, looking to get it past Matic. Comes infield to Kearney. Now it's Seri. Support here from Tim Ream. And Mitrovic. And Sessegnon. And offside.
Just went a little bit too early there, Sessegnon again. He's looking along the line. Probably could have held his run a little bit. He didn't, and is offside.
Promise Ugonna, tweeting from Lagos, Pogba has been a beast ever since Jose was sacked. Wonderful. But Rufus's argument, and I tend to agree, is that, you know, you might not particularly get on with your boss, but you can't really just refuse to play for him. You've got the club to think of, the fans to think of. I mean, I'm not suggesting that Mourinho should have stayed particularly, but you do get the impression that some of the United players were sort of actively trying to get him out. You know?
Well, they down tools.
Which is not acceptable, really, is it? It doesn't matter who you are, whether you've won the World Cup or not. But I mean, agreed. Oh dear, what's Mitrovic doing here? He's squared up to De Gea, he's got his forehead into his forehead. Smalling and Jones have come in to intervene. The Serbian is giving David De Gea a right mouthful of verbals. It seemed from a fairly innocuous incident. De Gea gathered the ball, and Mitrovic is clearly unhappy about something.
I think it's just frustration. Ball's over.
The referee is going to bring them together for a period of reconciliation, although De Gea seems a bit more contrite than Mitrovic, who's still complaining, and he's been booked. Both of them have been booked. Well, I think De Gea's lucky to get booked. I don't know. I'd be interested to see a replay of that, because I'm not exactly sure what sparked all that off. It's come in the last minute of the heart of the game.
It was nothing really. The ball bounced. Both of them went for it. Mitrovic bumped into him. De Gea took offence to that, and then it was handbags.
Well, you said it, frustration, pure and simple. That's what it was. Free kick to United, which De Gea will take. End of what's been a hugely successful early afternoon for them. Lunchtime kick-off in the sunshine at Craven Cottage. Here's Lukaku. The rain which came has come and gone. 3 minutes to be added on by the fourth official, Graham Scott. Now by Sanchez gives Fulham a free kick. Here's Tom Kearney just driving forward and finding Vieto. So back to Kearney. And now Odoi. Useful ball. Christie with the cross. Away by Bailly, very calmly indeed. Chested it down. The clearance wasn't brilliant though. It's gone straight to Fulham. Here's Odoi. Diagonal ball to Cyrus Christie again, looking to get inside of Luke Shaw. Tom Cairney plays the ball to Luciano Vieto. Trying to deal with that. He hoofs it upfield towards Lukaku. We'd love to have one last chance to get on the score sheet, but the ball bounces off him and Callum Chambers emerges with it. Here's Seri purposefully down the inside left channel and finding Sessegnon, who can't get it away from Dalot. Dalot wraps the ball off the shins of the young Fulham substitute, and it goes behind for a Manchester United goal kick. I think they've settled for 3.
Yeah, I think, and it's been a really, really good afternoon's work for Manchester United.
The last time Manchester United actually appeared in the top 4 was the first weekend of the season, which I don't think really counts after one game. I think it's fair to say they are back in the top 4, and they're in the top 4 for the first time in this campaign. You can hear the United fans at the Putney end of Craven Cottage singing their hearts out after, well, what's been a fairy tale really, hasn't it, with Solskjaer? 11 games, 10 wins and a draw in all competitions. Here's Cairney for Fulham. And now Brian just drifting in, Vieto I should say. It's last knockings now. We're in the last minute of the 3 to be added on. Ball has been pinged across field and put straight out of play by Fulham.
Quality of Fulham's passing at times has been really poor, especially their long passing when they're looking to switch the play. They give the ball away needlessly when they're under no pressure. It's been really, really poor from Fulham.
Optimus Junior, who I think is Nigerian, says you've got to give it to Ole. This Manchester United is a completely different team and they deserve to be in the top 4. You can't argue with that because the results have been astonishingly good.
Different team, but same players.
Yeah, incredible. Ball's in the air, Lukaku underneath it. We've had the 3 minutes added on. Paul Tierney blows his whistle. It's been an enormously efficient performance by Manchester United. The Solskjaer bandwagon just keeps rolling along. 2 goals for Paul Pogba, 1 from the penalty spot, and a brilliant individual finish by Anthony Martial has put Fulham potentially a step closer to relegation on their return to the Premier League and put Manchester United into the top 4 above Chelsea. It has finished Fulham 0, Manchester United 3. Barber with that distinctive maroon hair produces a wonderful ball forward, and suddenly Fulham here are on the counter-attack, and it's a chance for Vieto, and he hasn't taken it. Martial to Pogba, who's onside and scores from a very, very difficult angle indeed. That is a lovely finish by Paul Pogba.
Herrera played it down the line, and it's Pogba, and I think the goalkeeper was expecting a cross as well, but it's Pogba who's had a look, and he's beat the keeper at the near post. Fantastic finish.
Here's Martial, brilliant run, fantastic goal. Anthony Martial all on his own. He just cut through Fulham with his pace and precision and has side-footed the ball beautifully into the corner of the net. Here's Lukaku to Mata. Mata goes down in the box. Penalties given it. Paul Pogba, who steps up to try and claim his second of the game. Here he comes, the little stutter, and the ball into the net. Manchester United have done the job surely now. Pogba gets his second as Fulham look to score in the break out of nowhere. The ball came across to Ryan Barber. He flicked at it and he's hit the outside of the post with his shot.
He's a yard out. He's gone for it with the outside of his right, and he's hit the post and it's gone out right, and that sums Fulham up.
Yeah. I suppose in the end it was all fairly predictable, Rufus, wasn't it? I mean, nobody really expected Fulham to do too much. I suppose you could say that the game panned out pretty much as what most people would have expected.
Yes, it did. Apart from the first probably 10 minutes where Manchester United started really slow, but once they got the goal, there was only going to be one outcome.
And I mean, I said it earlier, but Fulham, not only they've conceded 3 more goals, it's 58. The goal difference now is the same as Huddersfield's, minus 33. I mean, that's worth an extra point to all the teams above them. But they look to have the fight for a relegation. I know United are a quality team. You know, young Scott McTominay comes on and he's winning tackles in midfield.
And that's what that's probably the most disappointing for Fulham, and maybe the fans as well, because they didn't really see any fight, any aggression to get a result and mess Manchester United up. It was so comfortable for Manchester United, and they've won the game 3-0.
Well, if Burnley and Southampton were to win today, Fulham would be, I'm trying to work it, 5 points from safety. If Newcastle win, all of those teams would have 27. 10 points from safety. Fulham got 17. I mean, it looks curtains, doesn't it? It looks like one from everybody apart from Fulham and Huddersfield Town. Fulham and Huddersfield are dead, surely, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, from this Fulham team, I don't see any leaders. You've got Mitrovic, who's up there on his own to trying to do his thing up there, but there's no leaders in that Fulham team. That's going to drag them out of when they're in a dodgy spot.
And their next games: West Ham away, it's not easy. Southampton away, they're much improved. Chelsea at home, Leicester away, Liverpool at home, Manchester City. I can't see them getting too many points from that. Maybe 3 max. I mean, that would take them to 20, but on
this current form, you look at them fixtures there, you can't see them getting anything.
No, absolutely not. And United, I mean, obviously they are in the Champions League, but they need a top 4 finish to achieve that. They'll be looking for Manchester City now probably to take points off Chelsea tomorrow. Do you think they are good? Well, they are good enough at the moment, but do you think they will cling on for a 4th spot? They're now 4 points better than Arsenal.
I think they will. I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. Pogba is unreal. Martial, you look at the bench today, when they're in. I think they've got every chance of getting it.
You said unreal about Pogba. I mean, rarely do you see an individual performance as dominant as the one that he's put in. I mean, admittedly against a poor side, but I mean, almost everything he did was pretty much spot on.
But Fulham didn't get near him.
No.
Didn't even try and rough him up or nothing. They just let him get on with it. They didn't lay a glove on Manchester United.
Coming up, we've got Liverpool against Bournemouth at Anfield. Bit of team news ahead of that one, I can tell you. Callum Wilson and David Brooks both still injured for Bournemouth. Dominic Solanke, who they signed from Liverpool, of course, will not be facing his former club from the start today. He's been dropped from the side. Liverpool make one change to their team. Gio Wijnaldum is back in midfield for Adam Lallana. That's coming up very shortly. 3 o'clock kickoff there with Dan Wheeler and Chris Birchall. We're just about out of time here. My thanks to Rufus Brevitt for helping describe this one with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of Manchester United fans around the world who'll be absolutely delighted with the latest chapter in the Solskjaer renaissance. They're into 4th, 2 for Pogba, 1 brilliant goal for Anthony Martial, and Manchester United march on. We're just looking at the goals again. The first 2 were of astonishing quality, particularly Martial's goal. Look out for that one if you can. Brilliant run and a super finish. Fulham looked absolutely bereft of any kind of hope. They appear to be doomed. That's just about it from us. All it remains for me is to wish you a very good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the Premier League in the capable hands of my colleagues. From me and Rufus, a very good afternoon. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epicfinport.com/predictor, and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game, available online and for free at talksport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Okay, now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
This is a golden chance, and Marcus Rashford doesn't need a second invitation.
The only way to listen to the world's most exciting league outside the UK and Ireland.
It's a big chance here for West Ham, and they've got the equalising goal. A brilliant free kick right off the training ground.
We've got every single goal, every single weekend of the season.
Son to shoot, goal! Tottenham Hotspur have broken through.
English football at its finest.
Square pass to Kante, and now a brilliant finish from Gonzalo Higuain.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Bournemouth from Anfield. I'm your host Dan Wheeler. Alongside me is the former LA Galaxy midfielder Chris Birchall. This is Premier League Live. A slip, blip or dip, whatever you want to call the last 10 days for Liverpool, one thing's for sure, momentum has certainly changed. The Reds, within reach of a potential 7-point lead at the top 2 games to go, have lost it. City pushed into second for the first time since early December. Whatever the next 13 games hold, we can be sure there's now a serious title race on. And whoever keeps it together mentally will be as important as whoever does so on the field. Strong legs and even stronger minds. After City's psychological uppercut of going top with their win at Everton, it's now Liverpool's turn to respond. On paper, that looks like it shouldn't be much of a problem. Bournemouth have lost their last 7 away games in the Premier League, have never won at Anfield in 5 visits, and haven't scored a goal in their last 3 meetings with Liverpool either. But they have turned one of the big boys over just 2 games ago, thumping Chelsea 4-0. Although that was at home, Klopp and co will need to respect the warning. Well, the team news is in. Liverpool make one change from the side that was fairly unimpressive, it has to be said, against West Ham on Monday night. They were quite fortunate to escape that game from London Stadium with just a point in a 1-1 draw. Adam Lallana has gone to the bench. Gigi Wijnaldum returned to training alongside Jordan Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold this week, and Wijnaldum is restored immediately to the starting lineup in just a single change. So Alisson's in goal. James Milner had a torrid time against the EastEnders on Monday. He continues at right back. Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk in the centre, with Andy Robertson at left back. Naby Keita and Fabinho are joined now by Wijnaldum in that trio in midfield, and then that familiar looking front three: Mo Salah, Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane. I mentioned Henderson and Alexander-Arnold. They are both on the bench this afternoon for Liverpool, alongside their sub-keeper Simon Mignolet, Camacho, Sturridge, Origi and Lallana. Bournemouth, well, they lost 2-0 away at Cardiff last weekend in that emotional evening match there in the Welsh capital, and they are already without Nathaniel Clyne for this afternoon. He can't play, of course, under the terms of his loan from Liverpool. The man they signed amid quite a bit of fanfare in the summer from Liverpool, Dominic Solanke, he's dropped from the starting lineup this afternoon to face his former club. He is on the bench, and Junior Stanislas is left out altogether. The trio coming in for the Cherries are Jefferson Lerma, Diego Rico and another Liverpool player, Jordan Ibe, who will start the game. So Arthur Boric is their goalkeeper. Adam Smith will fill in at right back in the absence of Clyne. Nathan Ake, Steve Cook and Diego Rico make up the back four. Ibe will be wide on the right, Ryan Fraser, the Scotland international, on the left, Andrew Sermon, Dan Gosling and Jefferson Lerma holding things together principally in midfield, and their out-and-out striker is Josh King. On their bench, alongside Asmir Begovic, their goalkeeper, are Lys Mousset, Jack Simpson, who's a young midfielder, Kyle Taylor, Dominic Solanke, as I mentioned, and Chris Mepham, and making up the seven is Sam Sturridge. He's just 20 years of age, the young striker. He's had a loan spell with Oldham in recent times, but he is yet to play in the Premier League. So one change from Liverpool this afternoon, three changes from Bournemouth. That is coming up our main game here on Premier League Live, kicking off at 3 o'clock UK time, and we'll also be previewing the rest of our 3 o'clock kickoffs next. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway, is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the good to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com.
Is Premier League Live.
Coming to you from Anfield ahead of Liverpool against Bournemouth. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler, and alongside me for today's commentary, the former LA Galaxy midfielder Chris Birchall. Afternoon to you, Chris.
Hey, Dan.
Good to see you. Well, we'll have some thoughts on this game first. We've got quite a tasty title race on now, haven't we?
We have. I mean, it was always going to be that way, even though I think a lot of the media were saying that Liverpool were going to pull away with it. I think the way you see Man City play, they look phenomenal, and Liverpool have just stuttered in the last couple of weeks, but at the end of the day they haven't lost. They've picked up a point here and there, and they're still in it, and you'd thoroughly expect them to win today, but you just never know.
You would. Pressure can do funny things to players, can't it, as well, Chris? And they've been leading the pack for so long. Now they've been sucked back into it, not at the top anymore for the first time since early December, so they've got to do the running again. What will that dressing room be like in terms of the players trying to get focused? Because it doesn't matter where you are in the league, if you're going for the title, you're trying to stay in the division, you've got a big cup tie, pressure's pressure.
Yeah, exactly, and I think Klopp will be in there trying to just keep it tight-knit and just say nothing's changed. Don't get influenced by the media, because one week they're saying you're going to win the league, and the next they're saying that you're out of it. So they're very experienced. I mean, Klopp will know from the past what to expect, and Man City are only top because they played a game more. So Liverpool win the game in hand, they're 3 points clear. That's what Klopp will be telling them. They have a game today where they can go out and prove some of the critics wrong. I mean, everyone's expecting them to win, but you just never know. Bournemouth went and thrashed Chelsea and then lost to Cardiff, so they're inconsistent, but their away form has been poor, so you'd expect Liverpool to pick up the 3 points today.
Yeah, it's a good fixture for them in that respect. They're unbeaten here at Anfield in 33 games, but they do need a reaction because they were poor at West Ham on Monday.
Yeah, and some of the players as well. I was really disappointed in Keita. I think a lot of people have been disappointed all season. He hasn't really produced. But just looking at that team against West Ham, it didn't look like a championship winning team. They didn't play well at all, and then the next night they go and see Man City and they were on fire. So there's pressure there, but it's where Liverpool want to be and where the fans expect them to be, and it makes for an exciting last third of the season.
They've had some issues defensively. Joel Matip starts again today for the fourth time in a row in terms of the Premier League. Gigi Wijnaldum is back. He returned to training this week. He's only missed a game. But that should stiffen up that midfield three. Adam Lallana, who came back against West Ham, he's obviously had his injury problems. So Wijnaldum coming back, will that make much of a difference?
I think he steadies the ship. Him and Firmino make it a really kind of Fabinho make it a kind of tight knit in there where they're hard to break through, and they can pick passes out as well. I think they missed him the other day. Lallana came in, and you feel sorry for him because he works his socks off, but you could just tell he was blowing the other day, and he couldn't last. And I think Klopp will be kind of easing him back in throughout the season, hoping that he doesn't pick up more injuries as well. But I'm hoping that we see more from Keita today, because towards the beginning of the season, the first few